Okay, I gather I'm live. Rebecca, do I have audio? Because that would help if I had an audio check here. And the little wheel is spinning around and around. There we go. I got my image up there. Okay, so far I got one concurrent viewer. Oh, I got two. Walk on to number two, whoever you may be. And we go down here. Boom, 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 boom. Want to wait for the numbers to build up just a little bit before we get going here. Tonight we're going to discuss a lawsuit out of Ohio. And it's kind of a remarkable lawsuit. I've been looking through it after I got the paperwork. And it looks like it's going to be one of those more interesting lawsuits to cover. This one is, if it's held in the state of Ohio, I'm going to figure out how the heck I'm going to get up there. But, I'm going to try. This particular situation should start up about the time that Field McConnell comes to a close. It usually takes, well, I'm a screw up. We'll just go with it. I got ahead of myself. So anybody coming in, I got a day ahead of myself. Maybe it's, if you go over the international time zone, it's a day difference. And if you hear me sniffling, I'll try to avoid doing too much because I've got one hell of a cold and I've been sneezing, sniffling all day today. I almost didn't come on the air, but I figured I'd give it a shot. So anyway, this is the Friday Murtathon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the subject for today. And the subject for today is this particular lawsuit. And Preacher Dan, I call him Redbeard, got himself into a little bit of a pickle. He pissed a few people off. And it looks like, according to the plaintiff list, we have 4 known plaintiffs that have decided that they are going to teach Mr. Lee a lesson. And thus they are going to sue him. And what's interesting about this lawsuit, if you go down, there are John Does 1 through 5, and for whatever reason this didn't bring it up, there are 5 Jane Does. In other words, 5 males and 5 females are part of this lawsuit. Hello, everybody that's come in so far. Welcome to the Friday night Murtathon. Please disregard the title. I messed up like I always do these things. And so, but anyway, I'm going to go on here. And this is a brief, let me bring this down just a little bit. Going to go into a brief overlay. This is not the entire file from the state of Ohio. This is the only thing I could get in a hurry. Monday, I'm going to resubmit a public records request and try and get all the documents pertaining to this case. But this is where we're at. Plaintiffs Hagman, Quayle, Ditzar, and Sawyer all subscribe to a Christian worldview, which includes the views that Satanism and satanic pedophilia are gravely evil. Yeah, I can go along with that one. And that child sexual abuse is a heinous crime against almighty good, against humanity, and against the young victims. Again, I agree. All the plaintiffs have lived their lives, raised their families, established their careers, ministries, and built their reputation both publicly and privately of these values. Plaintiffs Dizar, I'm mangling this poor guy's name, and Sawyer currently lead ministries specifically devoted to exposing the evil of satanic pedophilia and or aiding the victims of such crimes. And let me bring this up just a little bit. Well, that's as far as I can go, apparently. Plaintiffs Quayle and Hagman have used their radio broadcast and other communications to condemn those same heinous crimes and diabolical beliefs. Man, crap, that one. Now I'm going to mute this thing from time to time because I don't want to cough on the air if I can avoid it. Wherefore plaintiffs pray for the following relief: compensatory damages against defendant Lee and other defendants for actual injury suffered by plaintiffs in an amount to be determined at trial, but far in excess of $25,000 each. Presumed damages against defendant Lee and other defendants for actual injury suffered by plaintiffs in an amount to be determined at trial, but far in excess of $25,000. Punitive damages against each defendant in an amount to be determined at trial, but far in excess of $25,000. Now, what this means is we're hitting a baseline of damage requests of $75,000 up. So that's the $75,000 is the minimum that they're asking for in this action. And then preliminary and permanent injunction relief to prevent continuing defamations for which there is no adequate remedy at law. Reasonable attorney fees cost for this litigation. Any other such relief, both legal and equitable, to which they may be entitled. Now, these individuals have hired a really lawyer. And so, this is what's going to happen. Field McConnell, what has happened is that 5 individuals have filed a civil lawsuit against Daniel John Lee of Juneau, Alaska, otherwise known as Preacher Dan, otherwise known as Redbeard. Preacher Redbeard, whatever. I call him Redbeard. Now, Preacher Dan has got himself in a little bit of a legal pickle because he made false accusations against these 5 people. 4, actually. And they have taken Mr. Lee and 10 other people to court. Now, generally, it will probably take a minimum of 6 months for this action to get into court. Could take longer. There's things that have to happen beforehand, discovery, financial disclosures, all kinds of things. But in the end, if this goes to trial, there's going to be a lot of information that's going to come out. Now, I have a general idea of who the defendants are in this case, but for reasons of confidentiality, I am not going to disclose that. So that's where we're at with Mr. Lee. Now, Mr. Lee is known to scream and make all kinds of weird statements and what have you. And, you know, the problem is if what you're saying cannot be backed up with evidence, you are exposing yourself to a problem. you're exposing yourself to getting sued. And, this is something that people should keep in mind when they decide that they want to engage in this kind of behavior, that they can get sued. Now, I'm going to be following this situation to see where it goes. It would be interesting if I was able to get up to Ohio and cover this case, but if I can't, I'll do the best I can to cover this thing online, because this is a long process. Now, I wanted to bring up briefly Mr. Holmseth. Now, Mr. Holmseth has written about me again, and in the process, he has put up false information again, which seems to be Mr. Holmseth's mission in life. Now, as soon as I get this thing to load properly, I'll switch it over. I'm in the process of setting this mess up. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm going to be sniffling. I'll try and catch it if I can. Alright, let me pull this over. And let me go down while this is stewing. This is all new to Linda, welcome to the show. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm covering a case. I had to sneeze before I did the transition, so I took it off so you guys didn't listen to my achoo. Okay. And for whatever reason, that's not scanning. Let's see. Yeah, there it goes. It takes a minute for this to scan. So, it starts out. Psycho connected to Phil McConnell's lawyer, Howard Stone, cyber-stacking news reporter with death threats and rape Jack Nicholson style. Now, this is interesting. He's calling me a reporter. That's kind of an honor. I don't think I'm a reporter, but if he wants to call me a reporter, I'll take it. But he claims, falsely of course, that I have a connection with Phil McConnell's lawyer. Phil McConnell's lawyer is a defense attorney. Phil McConnell's lawyer is working for the defense. There would be no reason for me to be connected to Phil McConnell's lawyer, because I don't support the defense. I am biased in this particular case. But that's Tim. Now, we go down here and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he says, death threats and warnings of extreme sexual violence against Timothy Charles Holmseth, this writer. So he's up to this again. Passed to Holmseth by an alleged liaison of Phil's attorney. Howard Son are conjuring up scenes from Jack Nicholson's movie The Shining. Holmseth is being threatened with death and rape in emails reminiscent of the typewriter scene in The Shining. Well, Mr. Holmseth might want to post the actual letters instead of the videos from a movie, which is a copyright violation, by the way. And the evidence is piling up. And again, he comes to me. Now, this would mean that Mr. Holmseth is accusing me of contacting Phil McConnell's lawyer. Now, this is what's got Tim Holmseth all stirred up. William K. Murtaugh, Florida, stated yesterday on his YouTube channel called From the Desk of Mert Witness One Live that he is receiving special updates and briefing from someone on the inside of the Field McConnell's case. No, I did not say that. Now, if Mr. Holmseth would like to go in to my YouTube channel and find where I said that I am getting information from the Field McConnell defense team, give me a timestamp. I would love to hear it. And I'm sure that there is at least one troll in here who supports Tim Holmseth who could do that. I'd like to see it. Mert is the alleged author of a chat log wherein appears to admit to and laugh about kidnapping children from malls and raping children to death. This, again, is standard Timothy Holmseth. Now, what he neglects to say in the video I did just yesterday is that I gave out all kinds of information on who it was that I allege created this fake chat. This has been going on for years. Tim Holmseth steadfastly refuses to investigate the exculpatory evidence that he was given by a lot of sources, including law enforcement. See, Tim Holmseth at one time talked to law enforcement, and since he didn't get the answers he did not want, he no longer contacts law enforcement. But he went through all this. Murtaugh also correctly, see, I told you that I was right, states that McConnell's conditions for release on bond forbid McConnell from using the web or even talking to anyone without his lawyer, Howard Son, on the call listening in. So, who is providing information to Field McConnell? Well, Mr. Holmseth, so since you are not familiar with how things work in Florida, we have something called the Sunshine Laws. The Sunshine Laws mean that any court hearing, any meeting, any function of any kind by any branch of Florida governments or other institutions is subject to public disclosure. That means if you file a request, unless the information is sealed by the court, this information is free to the public. Now, if Mr. Holmseth wants to spend $6.35 per page, he can submit to the Broward County Court requests for the transcripts. I even have all the information of who to call, the court reporter who made it, the company that employs the court reporter, because court reporters work for a private company that are contracted with the state of Florida, and each judge is assigned a certain company. More than one judge may have the same company, or there may be different companies for different judges. It just depends on how the structure is set up. So Timothy Holmseth could easily contact the court and get these documents, the ones that I have not published, because I cannot afford to spend $300 on these hearings just to get a copies of a piece of paper. It's just not there. This is why I set up my Patreon and GoFundMe's, is because of this kind of expense. And I just don't have the kind of money. Now, what did happen is that there are people that attended this public. Now, Timothy, so you can comprehend this. Public. Public. That means it's open to the general public. People like you, people like me. We can go in and we can sit down in that court in the viewing chair behind the bench, and we can listen in on every single solitary word that was said that caused 35 pages of testimony to be generated. Now, the reason I have not disclosed what is in the transcripts is because I don't have the transcripts to back up what I say. Because people come in here and they say, oh, you're not telling the truth, you're not this, you're not that. In this thing about Phil McConnell not being able to talk to anybody without his lawyer monitoring was something I got beat over the head with a number of times. And finally, the court published the order. And I was able to put the order up, which verified the information. Now, if I had been in the court, I would have been able to say that because I witnessed it. But since I got this information through a third party, I had to do it this way. Now, I have information about this case. Things that were said in that courtroom. That is public information. Anybody that wants to shell out the money can get the transcripts, including Timothy Holmsath, including Randy Erickson, who seems to have all the money in the world, and who, strangely enough, is able to get court documents from a closed hearing. Documents that have been ordered by the court not to be published. But Randy Erickson's able to get that, and then she copyrights it. You know, she engages in a kind of plagiarism, copywriting something that's not even hers. Now, so he sits there and he says that I stated that McConnell's testimony will support allegations that the McConnell organization, the Children's Crusade, was set up to commit fraud with the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force. That assertion is laughable. Well, Mr. Holmsath, I have asked you for the past 2 years, several times, to come up with legally binding information to prove me wrong, and you will not do it. You have offered not one whit of proof that the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force exists. Not one. And it's the same with the Children's Crusade. Now, the one thing that is interesting about this statement is people out there, and some who are on this chat right now, have put videos out on YouTube where, one, Phil McConnell stated that if you are on the board of directors or part of the Children's Crusade and you say that you believe in God, you will receive a salary of $60,000 per year just for saying that you believe in God. You don't have to do anything. You just, hey, I believe in God. Give me my 60 grand. You know, and they're in Phil McConnell's own words, as well as Timothy Holmsath. Now, Timothy Holmsath has not come forward with the name of one child or any verifiable information that the Children's Crusade or the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force has saved one child. He puts up an article that says the Marines went into a tunnel out in California and rescued a couple thousand kids. Well, the couple thousand kids have not been heard of. And my field at one time was logistics. That's moving people and equipment around. And I can tell you the logistics required to move a platoon of Marines along with 2,000 children, medical personnel, and everything else needed to move that number of people around cannot be done in secret. Somebody's going to see this crap going on. Now, Timothy Holmsath uses this picture. Let me bring this up. This Pentagon Pedophile Task Force picture. This is a stock photo that is the property of the United States Air Force. I have put this picture up before. This is deceptive on Timothy Holmes Seth's part, because he is implying that this is a troop of Marines on their way to save children, which it's not. This is a group of Marines that were being deployed on an operation that had absolutely nothing to do with children. And Timothy Holmes Seth has also made defamatory statements about Gerald Brumell. Now, Gerald declared that it is he that contacted Field McConnell's attorney, trying to offer a solution to get Field McConnell out of his situation. He suggested that Field McConnell bargain with the prosecutors for a reduced sentence in return for testifying against Timothy Holmes Seth, Randy Erickson, and a number of other people in federal cases that are being investigated, where it is alleged that Timothy Holmes Seth and Randy Erickson have the potential of being charged in these incidents. Now, let me bring this down a little bit. Brumell purported to be a liaison between everyone involved, to include Attorney John's son and many other judicial officers in Florida. Before McConnell's release on bond, Brumell publicly stated he authored a plea bargain model that had been accepted by a few involved, and if accepted by McConnell, would gain McConnell his freedom from confinement on the condition McConnell file a criminal complaint against Timothy Charles Holmes Seth, this writer, and Randy Erickson, and accuse them of crimes. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Brumell stated that in more than one YouTube video, and that's exactly what he did, because Timothy Charles Holmes Seth and Randy Q. Erickson, along with other people, are potentially guilty of federal crimes. And Field McConnell happens to be one of them. Now, Timothy Holmes Seth also seems to forget that Field McConnell came out and said that there is no Pentagon pedophile task force. And he tried to spin it and say, well, he didn't say exactly that. He changed some wording around. No, he said there's no Pentagon pedophile task force. And what Tim Holmes Seth doesn't seem to want to tell everybody is that the Pentagon, that's next, by the way, but the Children's Crusade no longer exists. It's gone. If you go to the childrenscrusade.com, you're going to get a 404 error. The website has vanished. It was taken down. Sorry about that. It's gone. There is no Children's Crusade. Tim Holmes Seth stepped down from the Children's Crusade. Guess why? Brumell has been repeatedly emailing me and warning me I am going to get killed and violently raped. Since I have not seen the emails from this guy, which Timothy Holmes Seth has not published, we don't know. See, Timothy Holmes Seth does this. He'll make up, says, oh, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. He never publishes this stuff. Not once. He has accused me for years of sending him an email where I asked sexual questions about his daughter. And I have asked him time and time and time again to produce the letter, and he will not do it because it does not exist. You can't produce something that doesn't exist. And I challenge him to once again produce the letter. You know, one of his friends could probably produce it. You know, make a fake letter. I've already shown how that could be done. And he came up with this little thing down here. Does William Murtaugh work for someone from Broward County, Florida. William K. Murtaugh from Orlando, Florida area is obsessed with missing children cases. Well, Tim Holmseth, what is the Haley Cummings case? That is a missing child case, isn't it? And who is obsessed with the Haley Cummings case? What is the John Benet Ramsey case? Is that not a missing or murdered child case? Aren't you obsessed with the John Benet Ramsey case? I mean, you come up with all kinds of suspects in that case. Now, of course, he gets into gaslighting me again, false information. He refuses to contact law enforcement. And oh, by the way, in case any of you ever decide to get into doing live streaming, it is against Holmseth law to appear on camera without a shirt on if you're a male. I don't know. He might get more excited if a female comes online. But if you're a male and you come online for 10 seconds because you forgot to turn your camera off, Timothy Charles Holmseth will crucify you for it. So remember, it is against the law to be on camera with no shirt. You know, Timothy Charles Holmseth will put you in Tin Hat Timmy jail if you come on camera with no shirt. And so that is that. Now, oops. I hope that I didn't screw this up again. Yeah, there we go. Now, you see, this is the thing. I don't think that Tim Holmseth wants to solve any missing child, murder child, any case having to do with children. He doesn't want to solve any of these because he won't look at the evidence and leads involved in these cases. He gets into these wild conspiracy theories about Vice President Trent wanting to kill him and get involved in a coup to take over the presidency of the United States, and so forth and so forth. Patriotic. I wish I could sue Timothy Holmseth. Timothy Holmseth has already cost me about $4,000 because of the lawsuit that he filed against me in Virginia. I had to defend myself against that crap. And eventually the lawsuit got thrown out because the lawyer in the case didn't know his ass in the hole in the ground and didn't do it right. So, there you are. But civil lawsuits are not that easy to file. They're extremely expensive. I mean, this lawsuit that's being filed against Preacher Dan, these people have already laid out about $300-400 in legal fees. Plus, they had to pay a retainer up front for the lawyer they're using in this case. And this lawyer is probably going to charge anywhere between $300 and $600 an hour to handle this case. These things are not cheap. And you don't get anything from the court until the jury renders its decision. And that could be a year from now. I lost a $3 million a year business. I lost my house. I lost all my property. And most important of all, I lost my reputation because of people like Timothy Charles Holmseth and Timothy Charles Holmseth, because he continues this nonsense. I've had people drop out of my channel because of Timothy Charles Holmseth. And Charlene, I reserve the right to sue Timothy Charles Holmseth, but the problem is Timothy Charles Holmseth doesn't have 2 pennies to rub together. The guy is broke. He is dependent on a woman to provide him with his room, board, and even his car. The woman has admitted to spending thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars on Timothy Homestead. This is a guy that is supposed to be what in essence is a press secretary to the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and is very close to the President of the United States, yet he can't afford a place to live. He has to run around dependent on this woman in a car that she had to buy for him. Kind of reminds me of a gigolo. He's not getting paid by the federal government. He's not getting paid by anybody but people that might donate to him on his thing. But other than that, the guy cannot stand up for his own. If he ever loses the support of his handler, he'll be a guy on the corner with a cardboard sign up saying, I'm hungry, I need food. Well, Field McConnell, if you don't like this chat, why are you here? I mean, you come in here every time I'm on chat and do the same thing. What is it? I mean, Kirk Pendergrass has got a real nice chat going on right now, talking about the law and all this. Go over there and watch him. I never understood this. This is an informal chat. It's like I think at last count, there are 30 million live streams like this one on YouTube alone. And so you can go out, you can go and, there's people talk about video games. They talk about the great Donald Trump. They talk about this. They talk about that. Yeah. But you are here every time. Your name here every time. That says something. Now, other than that, well, good night, Field. Good luck. Enjoy yourself. Say hi to Sabrina. This is what I don't understand. We run into this every once in a while. These people come in here and they raise all kinds of hell. And they say, oh, you're unprofessional. You do this, you do that. But they come in here. They come in here because they're scared. Because they know they're in trouble. See, most of these trolls that come in here are Randy or his supporter, or Timothy, or maybe one or two other individuals that pops in every once in a while. And I'm about to find out. Okay, what do we got going on here? Who is this? Oh, the quack doctor. Somebody just sent me a link to the quack doctor Perry, who seems to have her burr up her ass about me as well. Are you sick? It seems like you don't feel good. I don't feel very well. I have this damn sinus thing that I get every year because I have an allergy to what we call oak pollen. And she's monitoring my live stream. Okay, well, welcome to my live stream. I figured you were monitoring it. You're always in here monitoring it, so welcome. Enjoy the thing. Because I'm sure you're aware of the latest to come out of the Tim and Randy camp. Well, I may go in depth more tomorrow on Tim Homeseth or this other thing, but I don't know about awesomeness. Again, this is just an informal live stream. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing special. I just get on here and I bore people to tears for 3 hours. And, I get huge numbers. Oh my God, I'm up to 24 people. But it's small. It's not meant to draw a big crowd. This is for a small number of people that are interested in what's going on with Field McConnell. And unfortunately, because of the situation with the court, we aren't going to be able to get into anything until the first week in May. And so trying to figure out things to talk about in the meantime is kind of hard. So I just kind of float along, reading the chat, try to answer questions, stuff like that. It's nothing really special. I might do maybe next week a test run to the Orange County Courthouse to show how my live streams work. At this point, it does not look like I'm going to get my 1,000 followers by the 1st of May. The numbers just are not there. I think because of the subject matter being as limited as it is, and the fact that I'm not running a professional quality live stream, I'm kind of stuck at just a tad over 700 people. And YouTube put in this arbitrary limit on mobile streaming that I cannot mobile stream unless I have 1,000 or more subscribers. I don't understand the logic behind that, because I can live stream to my heart's content from my studio and I'm fine. But if I turn on my cell phone and try and live stream, it won't let me. I've tried it. YouTube has yet to offer their reasoning behind that limitation. Charlene, it's possible I will. I hope so. It's kind of a hard goal to achieve. There's so many people out there with better channels. Monty being a good example of that. But if it happens, it happens. The only thing that's going to happen if I get the 1,000 followers is I am going to be able to live stream mobile while driving to Fort Lauderdale and do live streams directly to YouTube using my 5G connection. I have a brand new phone on the way. It's going to be here sometime in April, and it's one of the best phones on the market, and that's what I'll be using to do my live streams if it comes in time. And also, if by the time the first week in May comes around, that they get this virus situation straightened out so that I can get into the courthouse. Because right now, the general public cannot go into the court, and that includes members of the press. They've closed the courthouse, and the only people that can go in are parties to whatever action's going on down there. Facebook Live is a possibility. I can live stream on Facebook. The reason I haven't is because a lot of people don't have Facebook. And I'm also going to be getting into multi-platform streaming if there are a number of people. The number of people, because I can live stream to more than one platform at once. I can live stream to Facebook, and I can live stream to Twitter, and I can live stream to YouTube. So, there's that. So if I get a sniffle or two in there, I apologize. It's just the way things are going. It's been one of them nights. And one thing that's funny, I went out today because I had to go down. I had to go down to Winter Garden, which is near here, and I decided to go into Sam's Wholesale. I'm a member of the Sam's Wholesale Club, and people are going nuts. They're running around. Number one, you cannot get toilet paper at Sam's Club. It's completely out. They have an aisle marked toilet paper. You get on the toilet paper aisle, and they don't even have the little pricey thingies they put on the shelves. Nothing there. They don't even have a space for the toilet paper. It simply isn't there. The people grab it the second it comes into the store. I've never seen anything like it. And what's funny is there was a story on the local news. Somebody hijacked a truck full of toilet paper. They found a truck with the toilet paper in it. But who the hell hijacks a truck full of toilet paper? It's ridiculous. And there's a run on hand sanitizer. Okay, I muted the mic for that. Sorry. I'm a member too. No bread at Sam's either. Yeah, there's a lot of staples that are being sold. It's weird that people are just in there. They load up those big platform carts and the regular shopping carts just full of stuff. I've never seen, and it's all hoarding. And the thing of it is that when this is all over and done, people are going to have a lifetime supply of toilet paper because Sam's and Costco and all these other stores are not going to take the stuff back. So they're going to be stuck with all this toilet paper. Maybe they're going to have a yard sale. Half price for toilet paper. I saw a thing on eBay. Some idiot put up a thing on eBay. Or no, it was Amazon. I'm sorry. I've got it up on my Twitter. Offering $495 for a thing of toilet paper. Jeez. Man, what did this world do before they invented toilet paper? And it's, weird. I mean, maybe you ought to do like the dogs do and kind of go around on your rear end. That'd be a sight. Or do what a bear does, find yourself the nearest tree and just start rubbing away. I don't know what the ladies do when they have to do the number, their thing, but I'm not going to get into that. But Jesus Christ. What a world. Well, okay, not much. Everybody's talking about the coronavirus. Now, we're on a curfew in Orlando. That started up 11 p.m. to sometime in the morning. Nobody can go anywhere. We're basically on lockdown. And throughout the country, they're doing different things. The entire state of California is shut down. It started out one version of a shutdown and moved to another. So that was kind of interesting. Let's go over here. Okay, I've got a comment. This is how the Children's Crusade works. They seek out desperate women and use them as poster causes to raise money. I suspect that there are other reasons for their being recruited and eventually sent overseas. If she cooperates with investigators, this group of frauds may be stopped and there will be no more victims like Cynthia. Now, this had to do with my video on Cynthia Absug, because that's a case that's currently ongoing, and there may be people that get in trouble over that. Okay, so that takes care of that. And we go up here. Well, I suspect that we're gonna get all kinds of problems if we don't get this under control. Okay, it's been 5 hours since that's gone up. Nothing has changed. And the other tin hat, let's see what she's up. All right, it's been 3 hours since she's done anything, and it's about homeless. And we're getting into QAnon again. Oh boy. And humans. Okay. Not much going on. We haven't heard about JFK Jr. And there's a lot of weird shit we haven't heard about lately. But I think things might get a little bit quiet here in the near future with a couple of people. We'll see. Haven't bought toilet paper since November 2018, and I still have 6 months supply. Okay. Smart thing to do. That's kind of interesting, but you either bought a lot of toilet paper or you don't use it very much. But that's a smart move right now, actually. Vice President Katie Porter. Who the hell is Katie Porter? Oh, yeah. That woman's a trip. Yeah, she'd make a good vice president. But I don't want to. Let's not get into politics now. Can't do that. Okay. But there's... Oh, I know what I want to do. Let me go back. I'm going to play this video for two reasons. Number one is let's see, go to subscriptions. Wow. Mine's got 720 people right now. That guy is just, he's good at drawing them in. I'll give him credit. He's damn good. Way to go, Monty. Okay. Alright, now we should have...
Okay, guys, I thought I'd let you know.
Oh, yeah, just a doggone minute here. Let me get set up. You'll have your turn here. Okay, let me... Okay, you've already seen this part. I love her voice, so I'm going to put this up here because hopefully she didn't put any copyrighted music in here. And so, for your listening pleasure, I present Rebecca.
Okay, guys, I thought I'd let you know what I got here. So, here we go. I got this from the Stark County, Ohio court records. So this is all public record. There's the case number. There's the judge. And here's the defendants. We got Doug Hagman, Stephen Quayle, Rush Dizdar, and Craig Sawyer.
I did pronounce them wrong.
And here's the plaintiffs. Daniel John Lee. Oh, we got a Jane Doe. Another Jane Doe. Or John Doe. And a Jane Doe. I wonder who that could be. Could the initials start with T? And in the last name could be H, maybe? Or letter? Anyway, I don't know for sure, so... Anyways, and we can guess who the Jane Doe is. Can't we, Mert? Anyways, it just goes on to put on here. Let me turn this around this way, if I can. I don't know if I can. God dang it. All right. It says plaintiff,
Disadvantage
Hagman,
of using
Quayle,
a cell phone.
Dizdar, and Sawyer also subscribe to a Christian worldview, which includes the view that Satanism and satanic pedophiles are gravely evil, and that the child sexual abuse is a horrendous crime against Almighty God. And it just goes on and on. This is what they fight about. This is what they stand up for. And these four guys. And you have somebody like Daniel Lee and other people that are defaming these people. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Because this is what happens. You will get sued. So, and then this is what they're asking for. Compensatory damages against defendant Lee and other defendants for actual injury suffered by plaintiffs in the amount to be determined at trial, but far in excess of $25,000. Presumed damages against defendant Lee and other defendants for actual injury suffered by the plaintiffs in the amount to be determined at trial, $25,000 or more. And then there's another one for damages against each defendant in the amount to be determined at trial, 25,000 or more. And then the attorney fees and stuff like that. But anyways, here's the all these videos that Daniel put out there about these gentlemen, and it's just, I mean, he ruined them. He took what they were building for their families and their communities and tried to destroy it. It's awful. And there they go. Fiona Barnett exposing Rush Dizdar is a very evil and wicked person. Defendant Lee mentions plaintiff Sawyer and Dizdar and references a previous video wherein he called Sawyer an evil dude and stated that Sawyer covered up a satanic pedophile camp that was in southwest United States. That's when he was talking about the Arizona with that wacky guy, that Louis guy that's been in jail, that's a fraud. You know, all Daniel's references or his so-called intel, all are frauds. Every single one of them are frauds, and he knows it. He knows it. But it didn't matter. Danny didn't care who he not discredit, but who he dragged through the dirt. As long as he got money, and as long as people paid for his PayPal, his rent, his food, his gas, his car insurance, he didn't care. So, anyways, and then the second video, and then it has the published date, and it begins at 5:45. This video from the previous day, and repeating some of the same materials about Fiona Barnett, defendant Lee felt led to expose plaintiff Rush Dizdar, Doug Hagman, and others, again citing Barnett and an individual identified as Timothy Homseth. Fraud. He's a fraud. Defendant Lee's published false and defamatory statements, including Dizdar is another Michael Aquino butt boy. Oh my God. Satanic pedophile and very evil dude. Craig Sawyer loves to protect satanic pedophiles and is a protector of satanic pedophiles. Doug Hagman was trained as a Jesuit alongside the 300 priests found to have raped 1,000 kids in Pennsylvania. And Doug Hagman is a Jesuit, and he is a satanic pedophile. He has controlled opposition. Oh my God.
You know, it's interesting about this particular portion of the paperwork, which is what I need to get from the court. Everybody's a satanic pedophile. You see that in Tim Homseth. You see it in Daniel Lee. You see it in Randy Erickson and all these other people. Everybody is a satanic pedophile. That's the only thing they can come up with. And this is what damages people. You know, you get out there and you put the stuff out there, and you don't know who's listening. All it is one crazy person with a gun, and everybody's safety and security is at risk. I recall a video that was put up by Daniel Lee. There was a guy in there had stated that he had been to Kim Picazio's law offices and photographed her around her law offices, and he told Daniel Lee, just say the word and tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. You know, this is the kind of people that the plaintiffs in this lawsuit have to put up with, and I have to put up with, because these people don't care about the damage they do to other people's lives. They just are these greedy little people that either want the attention, want the money, or both. And so there, and then we have this situation.
Oh, Defendant Lee further stated on 10/9/19, Dizdar is hiding something. They all work for the CIA. This is just not right. Not right at all. And here's another video. It's just bad. Here he says, Doug Hagman is evil, folks. Doug Hagman works for the satanic pedophiles. More child sex trafficking network, he calls. He has no proof on this. None. The only thing he has is coming out of the mouth of people that lie, like Timmy and Fiona, Tracy Remington, Randy Erickson. These guys lie through their mouth. And for what? For money. For money. That's it. Ugh. And the fourth video. With plaintiff Hagman's sole relationship to the Jesuit being his enrollment at a Jesuit seminar in the mid-1970s. This is how Danny Boy got his. Oh, he's a Jesuit, whatever. Defendant Lee stated in a video that Hagman is sick and twisted. Oh my God, an assassin? And that he is working for a satanic pedophile promoting Vatican. Are you kidding me? Defendant Lee challenged Hagman to file suit against him. Now, Doug Hagman, please sue me. I want you to sue me.
Well, Daniel Lee, Mr. Redbeard, be careful what you wish for, because it looks like you're about to get it. Now, this is religious bigotry right here by Mr. Lee. This is hate speech. And under the proper circumstances, this could be defined as a hate crime. Because a Jesuit is nothing more than a specific order of priesthood. And they get targeted by people like Daniel Lee. These are religious extremists where women are property, you're free to do with them what you please, that the woman has to have sex on demand. She has no rights at all. Some of the things I've heard Daniel Lee say about women are just, in this day and age, I'm surprised and that women that are anywhere near him haven't scalped them yet.
The Jesuits are the military arms of the satanic pedophile Vatican. And then it goes to the video. Oh. And here's the fifth video. Okay. Defendant Lee falsely accuses plaintiff Hagman of being a closet Jesuit who works for satanic pedophiles and falsely asserts that plaintiff Quill is working for the CIA. Oh my God.
God, I love that laugh.
And then he says, I'm going to get blowbacks for his, for what he says, and he sure did. And it says, everything I do is documented. Defendant Lee falsely stated that legal action had not occurred because Doug Hagman is a coward and a liar, and addresses plaintiff Hagman directly saying, oh yeah? Come on, Doug Hagman. He's not going to sue me. Doug Hagman and Steve Quill, they are evil. They are part of the CIA working for satanic pedophiles. They're evil. Steve Quill and Doug Hagman are evil, evil, evil. I've proven 100% proof. To this date, this video has been viewed Oh, and downloaded over 29,000 times. Oh my God. God dang.
Well, see, that Rebecca hates sells because this is why, you look at Field McConnell, he's got 41,000 subscribers. Even his dead field report has views of several thousand apiece. And it's all hate. I mean, people love to hate for whatever reason, especially these people. I mean, Randy Erickson has come out and says that she hopes that I get the coronavirus because at my age, that'd be a death sentence. The chances of me living through the coronavirus is not good. And I'm 69 years old. I travel extensively, so I'm in the highest risk group that you can imagine. Crowded places, airports, venues where a lot of people congregate, especially people from overseas. So, I may not be here next year, and people may not have to put up with my channel for very long.
And this one is about Craig. Defendant Lee begins by citing a series of his prior defamation against Craig Sawyer. For those of you who do not know about Craig Sawyer, I exposed him in death last summer, the summer of 2018, about a year and a half ago. Oh my God. I guess Craig, being a satanic pedophile, covering for him, working for him. Oh my God. God dang. Craig Sawyer's a very evil, evil man. He's an evil guy. Hopefully he will be arrested, prosecuted, and eventually strung up. Oh my God. Craig Sawyer is a Benedict Arnold, with his clear implication that plaintiff Sawyer is either a traitor to his country or, in the specific context of the video, a traitor to abused children and a willing accomplice of satanic child abuser. To date, the video has been viewed and downloaded. Oh my gosh. And then remember
Well,
when he said Craig Sawyer.
Well, that last bit, I think my mic is off, so I'll repeat it. I was just saying that I find it remarkable that this particular video that she was talking about, 18,000 people downloaded that video. And yet my channel, where I'm only here for the truth, I get 400 people. Now, Rebecca put this out today, not too long ago, and she's got 253 views on here, so she's getting a respectable number. But the ratio between the truth and hatred is just mind-boggling. What is in the minds of people that would believe this kind of garbage? That people are, the Jesuits are against children and this stuff. It's sick. 82,000 subscribers are absorbing this kind of hate. That's a substantial number compared to my 720 or 40 or whatever. Crazy.
Murdered Isaac Cappy Yeah. Says defendant Lee states that he has been communicating with Australian resident Fiona Barnett, who's a fraud, a liar, a snake in the grass. Ugh. Here we go. Also, Craig Sawyer likely was hired by Tom Hanks to murder Isaac Cappy. Defendant Lee then referenced his Twitter account, where he shared a visual meme displaying Plaintiff Sawyer on the left side of a picture and a cartoon face on the right. Oh, gosh. One of these worked for DynCorp, Clinton, McCain, Rothschild, CIA, child trafficking at the top of the image. Oh, my God. One helped killed Isaac Cappy. Defendant Lee concluded, I thought it was very appropriate for this video. Oh my God, it's rooted in truth. Nothing this freaking person, Danny boy, has said. It's all lies.
Well, puzzle piecer, I'm not that religious myself. Um, I consider myself agnostic. I suppose people say I'm an atheist, but I don't believe in organized religion. But at the same time, I don't care what religion you believe in, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, whatever, Mormons. That's what this country was founded on, is you have the freedom to believe in whatever you want to believe. I mean, even Lee has freedom of religion as long as it doesn't infringe upon the rights of people like what he's doing here and what he's getting sued for. You, believe in what you want. If you don't believe in something, just leave it alone. Let the people believe in what they want to believe. And I think in a lot of cases, if people would mind their own damn business when it comes to religion, people would have a lot simpler and better life. This kind of stuff by Daniel Lee is just, it's beyond the pale.
And now he's gonna freaking get it. Over several videos now that I've exposed with 100% documentation, Doug Hagman, he is a closet Jesuit. Oh my God, he works for satanic pedophiles. He cheated his subscribers out of thousands of dollars. Are you kidding me? Plaintiff Hagman seated next to his deceased son who died on... Oh, that's when he showed that thing. Oh my God. And Danny Boy said Doug was trained by PA, pedo priest. Joe killed himself via heroin overdose. None of the accusations are factual, but defendant Lee just wanted to put the dig in there. How that just pisses me off. The man lost his son. Oh.
What's interesting about this is there was a blogger went by the name of Radio. She operated out of Atlanta, Georgia, and she wrote once that my son was not mine, that he was illegitimate. And this was on what would have been his 30th birthday. She picked April 2nd, which was his birthday, to post that. And it's one of the few times she got backlash for it and had to retract it. But she didn't apologize to me. She apologized to my deceased wife. This is the kind of people that are out there in the world so full of hate that they would do something like this. And Daniel Lee is another one, right along with Timothy Charles Homestead. This is the kind of people they are.
I've exposed Craig Sawyer in abundance on this channel as being a very evil man. Through the remaining video, the defendant makes numerous false and slanderous accusations against plaintiff Sawyer, citing and then explaining on false and malicious allegations reportedly made by Australian resident fraud Fiona. We'll just call her that. I think Craig Sawyer definitely assassinated Isaac Cappy for sure, quoting Barnett. I said, okay, thank you. I'm going to blow this wide open to my 85,000 subscribers after Shabbat. Oh my gosh. Then he says, it's very clear to me that Craig Sawyer, he has the skill to murder someone and make it look like a suicide. Oh my God. In the 8th video, this is when he does his QAnon with his 20 people that he had. Oh my God. Responding to a question from a member of New Jersey audience.
Sorry about that. I keep forgetting to turn this damn switch on. Now, this is why I have a beef with QAnon and why I've argued with people that are members of QAnon. Because there are people like this that are in their movement, cause, whatever you want to call it. Daniel Lee is big with QAnon. Timothy Charles Holmseth is big with QAnon. The car I used to have had QAnon all over the windows. Phil McConnell was QAnon. And of course, Randy Q. Erickson is QAnon. And they put all kinds of garbage up there that's not true, that are similar to what's going on here. And this is what people have to put up with. And this is the kind of thing that really needs to be put to a stop.
Defendant Lee identified several people by naming, including defendant Hagman and Quayle. During this session, the defendant repeatedly previous malicious and false accusations against plaintiff Hagman and Quayle. Doug Hagman, this guy is a CIA asset. Oh my God. In addition to the people in the audience. Anyways, you can go to, there's more to it. You need to look at what this all entails. But this is pretty bad. And I am so glad that all 4 of these guys will finally get their justice that they deserve from a little piss on SOB that thinks he can say whatever he wants to, but he can't. You know, you gotta be able to back it up, and Danny Boy can't back none of this up. So, anyways, I just wanted to show this to you guys that it's happening. There's the judge. There's the court case. There's where it's at. Here's the plaintiff, or the defendants and the plaintiffs. So, you can see right there that it's happening. And they're going to be taking Danny Boy down for all the fraud, the lies, the freaking everything he has said about these men is a false lie, just a lie. So, anyways, y'all have a good day. I'm sorry it was kind of sloppy, but I have lots to do today. So, but you guys take care and God bless and be prepared. All right, bye. Okay, guys, I thought I'd let you know what I got here. So, here we go. I got this
All
from
right,
the
All right, Rebecca, you already said it
This
once. There. All right. But yeah, it's unfortunate that people have to tie up their time and their resources on nonsense like this. But uh, they don't have much choice. They have to defend themselves against this kind of garbage. And now I'm trying to get this thing out of the way. There we go. Put you there. I'm trying to make it so I don't lose my webcam again. Because it's the switching. What have I got? Oh my god. Oh well. Monty's got 721 people watching. Kirk's Law Corner's got 106. Gotta love it. Damn. I'm in the wrong business. Sorry, guys. Goodness gracious. I may quit an hour early tonight because this is, this having to prevent myself from coughing is what I got. What I got. I got a dry throat, Oh my god, I didn't transition. Oh well. There, that takes care of that. Well, that's good. You heard me cough, but you didn't see me cough. Okay. Alright, let's see where we're at here. You nugget me. Oh, I hate that, because what she did... Oh, she must have sent me an email and then died. I don't know. Trying to figure this out. Oh, there she is. Okay, the last was the 19th. I stand with Monograph. Well, I stand with Monograph too. He's a nice guy. I'm going to retweet that. So, yeah, my resident troll doesn't like Dr. Perry either, at least we're on the same page in that respect. And I like Monty. I may not agree with him all the time, but I like him. He's a good man. Yeah, he did a lot to help out, so don't say bad things about Monty. He's a good man. Social media is a trip. Hell, yeah, let's... Well, that one's saving dinosaurs. I hit the wrong key. I'm just wandering around here. I want to see what the tin hats are up to. Tin hat number 1? Who the hell's that? Manhattan lawyer dies. Well, that's... The disease does that. Well, looks like the troops have arrived in Miami. You would think somebody from Florida would know where they're at. I've been down that road. They're showing a bunch of military vehicles in the Miami-Dade area, probably Fort Lauderdale, because they're sending the National Guard down to Miami-Dade, Broward, all the southeast, because it's the heaviest populated area in the state. And they're going to set up mobile 6 hours, so nothing new, 3 comments. Okay. So there, nothing going on with those two jackals. The title reads Saturday Murtathon because I'm an idiot. I forgot to change the title. And once the stream is underway, I can't change the title. You get my age, you screw up. It's kind of like, the thought process kind of goes in the toilet. So that was just a dumb mistake on my part. And there goes the phone. Well, my secretary will answer that. Monograph and Agent 19 are upset with each other. I haven't heard a thing about that. I don't know why those two would be upset with each other, and it's really none of my business. Dr. Tammy is a fool for sure. She's just another one of these quacks. And I hate to see people in the medical profession go down this road because she's responsible for saving lives. She has an oath to do no harm, and she's doing just the opposite. And of course, she's come after me. I don't know this woman, and yet I'm on her radar, and it's probably because I do not support the actions of Field McConnell or Timothy Homestead. Well, that's just too freaking bad. And she's yet another resident idiot. I agree with that, Mary. It's just, I don't get people like that. You'd think she'd have better things to do than getting involved in these tripe. But, what are you going to do? We have this guy who says he's JFK Jr. that goes around doing these seminars, and he makes a fortune. I mean, God, the money that guy makes. Like I said, I'm in the wrong line of work. Of course, I'm in the wrong line of work anyway because I don't make a dime off of this. This is costing me a fortune. By the time you internet access, the investment I've made in this machine, the new phone, you don't make money in this. I don't know what people think. You have to hate. That's where the money is. If you want to make money, you got to hate people. It's just the way the world works. Reminds me of that song from The Sound of Music. U.S. We're up to 16,000 cases. Space likes largest on Starlink. They lost the booster, unfortunately. Oh, what is this?
Well, Danny.
Alright. This was made 10 hours ago. See if this is this looks like it's a different one. So let's see what we got here.
Well, Danny boy, looks like you got your wish. We got Craig Sawyer gonna sue ya, Doug Hagman, Russ Dugbar, Steve Quill, and they're gonna sue your butt because you're a liar. You're a fraud. I hope you have lots and lots of money. But let's listen to what really started Danny Boy's little trouble when he said, "Sue me, Doug Hagman! Sue me!"
Tammy. Every single troll that has said, "Oh, Daniel, you've crossed the line." They've been saying this for a year now.
You've crossed the line.
Your YouTube channel's over. You're going to jail. Blah,
Yep.
blah, blah. Every time I get more subscribers, my channel gets lifted up. As Psalm 92 says, he lifts up my horn. Not because of me, but because Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who lives within me, and lives within any believer.
You have nothing but evil inside you. Nothing but evil. What you did to these 4 gentlemen was evil, wicked. Only someone that serves Satan would do something like that. Danny boy, what you've said about him is evil. Ugh.
So, like waves crashing against the rocky beachhead, these frothing at the mouth followers of Doug Hagman will once again break on the beachhead.
Really?
Into nothing. As Yahshua HaMashiach, the rock, protects me, for I am a blood-bought,
No, you're not.
blood-washed servant of the
No,
Messiah.
you're not. You're a liar.
Declare this now on Shabbat Shalom. Doug Hagman, come on, be the latest one to try to attack me. And you'll find that not only will you fail in every effort to attack me, but the very pit you seek to dig for me,
God.
you will fall in yourself.
Danny boy, who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? I think it's so funny. You're finally gonna get your what
The
you
whole
deserve.
damn room is laughing.
What you deserve, because what you did to these men. You are a freaking. You don't even deserve to be walking among us regular humans, because you're so pathetic and a liar, a thief, a con artist. You are a con artist. Oh, well. Anyways, I think it's just, this is what I've been waiting for somebody to stand up. Now all 4 of them are standing up, and they're going to go after Danny boy. I think it's great. I think it's great. What y'all giveth, y'all taketh away. Ain't that right, Danny? Have a great day, because I sure am. Well,
Well, we're all having a great day after seeing all these videos. This is an absolute trip. I didn't do it. I forgot the transition. I didn't do the video portion of that, but the audio's enough. That is unreal. Let's see, my notifications. Okay. All right, let's see. But I love your videos, Rebecca. They are the funniest damn thing on the internet. And actually, don't even need the video portion of it. The audio is just as funny. The audio makes the video. Daniel J. Lee writes emails to himself. This is one I haven't played yet.
Okay, I just thought I'd bring this up again. How Danny fabricates his like intel, his Navy intel, and his military intel. He can't have a military intel and saying all this stuff. I mean, everything he said we have known about. Everything. And people need to wake up and see that Danny would be the last person that an army or a navy or military man would go and talk to. You know? Oh, let me email the man that abuses women and children. Let me just email him a little letter. No, Danny boy. But anyways, let's listen for a minute. It's pathetic. Pathetic.
Now this is the deep state plan, and then we're going to talk about POTUS's response.
Wow.
So number one, they want to get hospitals to be overwhelmed in a matter of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
People panic and make store runs.
My Walmart is shut down. Yeah, my Walmart got shut down today. They said to restock, but I don't know. I don't go to Walmart. I go to Sam's Club or whatever. But yeah, it was shut down. People are freaking out. So I wouldn't take my advice from Danny Boy. I'd be prepared for everything and anything. So, anyways.
Sporadic looting. Number 4, stock market really tanks. Number 5, people, non-patrons, will not listen to POTUS, but rather the lying politicians saying this is POTUS's fault. Number 6, repeat number 3, which is sporadic looting.
Okay,
Number 7, repeat number 1, which is...
It's just stupid. He thinks this is his email that he mailed to himself. It don't even have a freaking date on it. This is Danny Boy because people are asking him about it, And Danny's the one that said the chemtrails are good. There were good chemtrails up there because President Trump, blew up the bad ones, in the bunker thing. So it's all better now. I didn't know there was good chemtrails and bad chemtrails. God, and he's the one that said put chicken wire around your 5G or something like that. I don't know.
I gotta interrupt or something. This chemtrail thing has been driving me crazy for years. This theory, and apparently nobody understands how aircraft work. Chemtrails are vapor trails. And what happens is, because of the nature of jet aircraft, which an airliner is, at high altitude, a byproduct of the combustion process of a jet engine is water vapor. And what happens is, when the exhaust comes out of the jet aircraft, being that it is water vapor, it hits the very cold temperatures of the upper atmosphere and it turns into clouds. That's all chemtrails are. They're basically clouds. And, I don't care who out there believes in chemtrails. It's one of these silly things that I see on the internet, and trying to explain to people that these are not chemtrails. They're what we call vapor trails. They've been around since the beginning of jet aircraft. I mean, my God. But, what can I say?
I don't know. Anyways, I just thought I'd throw this out there. Danny's still trying to, make himself important, but he's not. So, but anyways, y'all have a good day. I gotta get out here and help these guys cut this wood. Bye.
Again, hospitals getting overwhelmed in a matter of 2 weeks. 8
Yeah, I gotta learn to look at that damn microphone. Somebody just direct messaged me that my audio is down. Uh, ugh. I got the little button here on the side of my mic, and if I hit it wrong and forget about it, I'll be sitting here babbling away and nobody's listening to me. But it's either that or you listen to my coughing and gagging and sniffling and everything else. So I have a tendency. But I had, surprisingly enough, I had somebody over on the other, on my Twitter remind me, and then I just noticed now looking at here that, yeah, what it is, I don't know if you could see it. There's a little ring on here, and it's green. It means my mic is on. If it turned red, it means it's off. And I sometimes forget to look at it. And I should also, I've got a panel here in front of me that shows me my audio level. So that, I got to start paying attention to this board. Because, I don't know how long I've been babbling without the audio, so I apologize. Haven't really been saying anything much. I just, just kind of feel, yeah, Rebecca, I just got your direct message. What time zone is Twitter? And it's showing 6:43 p.m. Weird. I got to figure out how to reset the time on my Twitter to reflect my time zone. Because when I put up messages, the times are all wrong. Start at the top. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't saying anything important, Ray. So. Oh, look at all the hearts. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All by experience. Yeah, I'll learn all right. One thing I'm going to learn is I got to pay attention to the damn board. Because my VU meter tells me when my audio is up or down. I should be watching it. Why the hell is this thing set for Alaska's time? This is, I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out how to set the time zone on my Twitter. That's weird. Because when I post to Twitter, the times are all wrong. And when I receive when I direct messages. Sorry about the sniffle. And yeah, I am sick. I saw that. What I've got basically a stuffy nose and dry throat, stuff like that. I get this every darn year. And it's just, for about a week, I'm going to have to put up with it. Hopefully it's not the corona. But, the problem is because of my depleted condition, I could catch the stupid thing. So I got to be careful. Well, what's funny now, Puzzle Placer, that because of this lawsuit, I probably will be, because this is what I cover. I cover legal issues with internet personalities, and since he is now part of litigation, I'll be covering Preacher Dan, a.k.a. Redbeard, right along with Field McConnell and anybody else. So, that's what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be covering these legal proceedings as they work their way through the court. Yeah, Dodger, I like your videos. Can't play them because of the copyright, but I like them. And apparently I can play this one song because I haven't got hit with a strike on it. So it must be public domain. And I love this song. Because it goes along with my... Yeah, what's funny, when I get around to it, I've got to... see if it... Yep, there we are.
of the rain. The ants go marching 8 by 8, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 8 by 8, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 8 by 8. The little one stops to roller skate, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. The ants go marching 9 by 9, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 9 by 9, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 9 by 9. The little one stops to check the time, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. The ants go marching 10 by 10, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 10 by 10, hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching 10 by 10. The little one stops to shout the end, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom.
Alrighty. Oh yeah, we all gotta find Dodger video and watch Dodger video. That makes our day. Yeah, I like Rebecca's videos, I like Dodger's videos, I like Glow's videos. Everybody makes fun videos. Love the videos. Oh god, conjunction, junction. The only problem is I think that's copyrighted. This thing, I played this once before and I haven't got hit with a strike on it yet, so hopefully the YouTube will leave me alone. I'm not going to play it again. That was a trip. Yeah, just kind of wandering around here a little bit. Yeah, the reason your video stopped is because I ran into a buffering situation at OBS went down and it should be coming back up again. I've got about a 30-second to 1 minute delay before I see anything, so it takes me a while before I see what's going on the board. Bring this up a little bit, I can see it. Why am I getting... Well, it's not hurting anything. For some reason, I'm getting the display captures coming up in my... Yeah, put that right there. Back to webcam, bring transition. There. Schoolhouse Rock, that was kind of interesting. I used to listen to those. Has Daniel Lee ever mentioned me? I don't know. I would be surprised if he hasn't. But as far as I know, he hasn't. Who knows with him. I don't pay attention to Daniel Lee all that much. Well, it's not so much of an internet hiccup as it was my software hiccup. For some reason, my software went offline. OBS does that, so you know, and it sits there and does a refresh. So, but I have got quite a bit of a delay between when I see it on my program monitor and it shows up on YouTube's monitor. It's very, very large latency problem, and I don't know what causes that. I guess it's just the way these things loop around. I've always run into this with live streams. The latency is always there. And it's kind of weird to look at yourself currently and then look over to your right and notice that you're looking at yourself a minute and a half ago. All Autoplan TS have been closed. What is Autoplan TS? Sounds like it's some kind of chain that we don't have down here. 26? Wow, you're younger than I thought. Damn. Sheesh. You're almost, well, you're 2.5 times younger than me. You're younger than my son would have been. Actually, you're a year older than my son was when he passed away. It's a hell of a thing to remember. Oh, to be 26 again with the knowledge I have now. That would be interesting. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. I have not seen that movie, I don't think. God, he's still on the air? Kirk's Law is still on. He's got 85 watching. Wow, I'm jealous. 85 people to watch about fake law. Tragic. Cough alert. Yeah, I got my dry throat. Cop walking around with a face mask on. Ooh, excuse me. Mickey saves Santa. What's it? Yeah, just scrolling through some of the stuff here. Yeah, he was a good kid. You know, you celebrate the life. And it's part of the mourning process. You know, it's a hell of a no to outlive your child. It's one of these things I don't wish on my worst enemy. No, I have never met Tim Holmseth. Which is interesting because he says all these things about me and we have never met. I have never been to East Grand Forks, Minnesota. I've never been to Polk County, Minnesota, for that matter. So that is one of those things. I never met him. I almost went to his hearing that he didn't show up for, but I had a schedule I couldn't break, so I couldn't get up there. And it's a kind of it's a combination of having the time to go up to these places and having the money to do it. It would have cost me $600 to go to a trial where he didn't bother to show up. So I saved $600 because it would have been a waste of my time, because it would have been $300 round trip, about $100 for the rental of the car, and whatever it would have cost me for a hotel and food and all that. So. Puzzle piecer. He just made Danny Lee's day. Yeah. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, folks, I may cut this short simply because I'm not really feeling all that good. Um, and it's not, I don't feel that bad. Uh, I don't really feel that bad. It's just that I've got a stuffy nose. It feels like somebody put a lead balloon in my nose. And, and I don't like coughing and all that stuff on the air. It's not, it doesn't make for a presentable uh, webcast. Uh, let's see. Charlene says that Timmy said in an interview a few months ago that you and Levi Page are scared of him. Well, I actually think it's the other way around. I am not scared of Tim Holmesett at all. He sets the time and the place, and I can get free on my schedule. I'll meet him in person, and I'll be polite. I won't threaten him or I won't do anything. I'll sit there and I'll talk to him. I'm not afraid of that little twerp. He's scared of me. He won't come to Florida. Now, he says this paperwork filed against him has been dismissed, expunged, so he has no reason not to come to Florida. Tablespoon of honey. I read that. I'm going to get some honey and I'm going to try it. I like honey. So I'll get some of that raw honey. New York State, I used to eat honey right out of the tree. Best stuff in the world. You can get a little bit of dirt thrown in for good measure. You get the bark shavings and like that show up. Excuse me, and there's my brain having a brain fart again. I'm thinking about maple syrup. But yeah, I've had honey right out of the beehive too. There's a guy that used to sell it. Yeah, it's part of the farm thing. Underneath the bunker. I don't know who that is. I'll bet he did, Mary. Excuse me, folks. What I miss about New York State is the cold weather. I am extremely sensitive to the cold weather. And you'll see me. What's weird is I have to go to places where it's cold. And I look like an Eskimo. I got the big furry thingamajiggy. I got a hat. I call it my Cossack hat because it's just. But no, I kind of miss New York. New York in the summer and the fall, it's nice. I'm from the Finger Lakes region, Elmira, New York. It's in what we call the Southern Tier, and I'm about an hour from Watkins Glen, New York, which is the base of Seneca Lake, the largest lake in the Finger Lakes, and the Watkins Glen and Grand Prix is up there. Yeah, Grand P. Like me after I have a Pepsi Grand Prix P. Anyway, yeah, it's nice up there, but it's too damn cold in the winter. And I like Florida. I'd rather freeze than fry, as the expression goes. Or rather fry than freeze. One of these days I'll get my mind in order. Starting to be like Holmesett. I get everything backwards. Detroit cops will be down 152 cops. Oh dear. That's not good. Well, this is where you're going to see the National Guard come in, because they're going to take up the slack for law enforcement. There's a possibility we're going to be under martial law in some cities. We're already in a curfew here in Orlando. The curfew started officially 4 minutes ago in Orlando. Everybody got to be indoors. That's the entire Okay. Toilet paper makers message to the U.S. customers. We've got this. Shelves may be empty, but U.S. toilet paper manufacturers are adamant. We got this. Georgia Pacific has increased shipments of its quilted Northern Namesaw brand by 120% above normal capacity. Procter & Gamble will make as much Charmin as Americans think they'll need. Kimberly Clark says its Scott brand will remain plentiful and that the company is both accelerating production and reallocating inventory to meet demand. So it looks like we'll all be able to poop in safety pretty soon because we're going to have plenty of poop paper. Won't have to drag your butt around on the grass out in front of your yard. Cleveland. I saw a movie called Howard the Duck that was supposed to be based out of Cleveland. That was kind of an interesting movie. I don't know if they filmed that in Cleveland or not. Weird ass movie. I like weird movies like that. Yeah, the only thing about toilet paper plants, depending on where they are, you have to take a cut and pay because they don't have the union contracts that the UAW has. So I don't know what their pay rate is, but that's good that they at least have something to do, and it's beneficial to the public at large. I like that. Tell you, this has turned out to be the weirdest year in history. When I drove truck, I used to haul toilet paper and paper products. We have a Georgia Pacific plant in northeast or southeast Georgia, just above the Florida state line. And I used to make the run from there back and forth to Central Florida. Doesn't pay good, and it was a hand unload. You had because they piled the toilet paper in there all the way to the ceiling, and it would take 4 hours to unload it by hand. 800 boxes of toilet paper. Shit. I think there's going to be massive riots everywhere. If they don't get a handle on this, people are going to start running out of patience. The Publix or the Sam's Club today was an absolute madhouse, and I don't even want to think what it's going to be like a week from now. It's just going to be, people are going to get the worst case of cabin fever. I don't really. If I was in the house all week long, I would be doing nightly Murtathons and stuff. I've got a lot of stuff I can do in the house itself. So I'm not worried about, if we get into a total lockdown where I can't go out, I just got to make sure that I have sufficient supplies in the house and that sort of thing. So I'm not, it doesn't bother me at all. But right now, I've got outside commitments where I can't be home. Now, my schedule is changing slightly starting this week, so there may be a third Murtathon on Thursday. You know, Tim Homestead did something else that's kind of funny too. I was going to actually talk about this before this Lee thing came up. He published a story where one of the people in this room was going to be banned, and that I had gotten into a Zoom with Levi Page and a couple of other people to discuss taking her off the chat room. And that's not true. As a matter of fact, I had to discuss it with people to make sure they understood. And what's funny about this is I do not have, as far as I know, a Zoom account. I checked into Zoom. It doesn't fit my purposes because if you go over 100 people, you got to pay for it. And it's just the format of Zoom is not suited for what I do. And, if I want to go into a private chat, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, there's things out there. You really don't need Zoom. So I think it's kind of stupid. But this is the kind of stuff that Tim comes up with, and he did this on purpose because he wants to make the woman insecure and make her think twice and say, well, if they think that about me, I'll just leave. I mean, because of Tim Homestead, I've probably lost a few subscribers because I've noticed that my subscriber account is starting to go down. Let me check it real quick. And I've made statements before that I am not going to punish people or anything. If you decide, say I'm at 745 right now, and that's down. I had gotten as high as 754, and then all of a sudden it just dropped. Now, a lot of it is people will come in, they'll see it on Twitter or on YouTube, and they'll come in and they'll stand around, and it's not their cup of tea because these people want different stuff, and so they leave. Dodger, I use Periscope when I'm on Twitter. And the problem I got with that is until I can figure it out, Periscope streams in smartphone format, which is the straight up and down thing you see when you watch these videos that people make with smartphones. And I have not been able to stream landscape. Now, lately, like when I did my courthouse video, the stream was a lot better, so there's something, maybe they've adjusted it. But what they do to adjust it is they knock part of the picture off the bottom. Charlene, yeah, I know. There's a couple, people don't like my position with Trump. But you got to understand, we are an equally divided country. Half of us like the position that Trump takes, and half of us don't like the position that Trump makes. But I'm not here to discuss Donald Trump. I am here to discuss Tim Homestead, Field McConnell, and now Daniel Lee. I'm not here to get an in-depth debate going about Donald Trump. And I wish people that are Trump supporters would understand that. If they want to stay away from this channel because I'm not a Trump supporter, then, that's their prerogative. It's just they have to decide what their priorities are. Are they interested in the wrongdoing by these scammers or not? If they're not interested in the wrongdoing of the scammers, as seen from someone that doesn't agree with the Trump doctrine, then I guess they leave. And that's going to create a problem because the vast majority of people on YouTube are Trump supporters or anti-Democrats. Because now I'm not going to get mad at people that don't like Hillary or don't like the Democrats and say bad things about those people because that's their political position. I may disagree with it, but I'm not going to condemn people for it, and I'm not going to throw them off of here if that's their belief. If I threw everybody off this channel that disagreed with my politics, I wouldn't have a channel. Virtually 90% of the people on this channel disagree with my politics. And So, we have to decide if we're going to compartmentalize ourselves and agree on certain issues or we're not. If political philosophies are going to get in the way of talking about something like Tim Holmseth and Phil McConnell, then, that's just the way it's going to be, I guess. Cough alert. Sorry about that. But, I would hope that we would all decide that we are going to, as participants in this room, set aside our politics as best we can and stick to the situation here, which is the actions by people like Tim Holmseth, Daniel Lee, and so forth, in what they're doing to people out there. Because that's what's important here, not politics, but the actions. Oh, I got my orbs flying around again. And, be that way. I can't dictate to people what they're going to believe in. And I'm not going to sit here and require that you have to agree with me, and so on and so forth. That is your choice. We have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom to believe what we want to believe. We have freedom of religion. And as long as we stick to those principles and don't condemn those that may have a view other than yours or mine or whoever, then everything's fine. That's one of the problems, I think, with the situation today is this country has gotten extremely divided. It's gotten more divided than it's been in a long, long time. And it's regrettable because in the end, we're all Americans. We all believe in this flag over here. We all pledge allegiance to it. We all believe in the Constitution that it stands for and so on. And that doesn't matter who we are. And as long as we understand that, we should be able to set aside our differences and stay on mission. And, I'll repeat that every once in a while so that it gets through. But those that come in here and leave because of my political situation, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but, I am not going to lie and hide my political beliefs. That's un-American. And that's just the way it is. So I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one. Okay, I'm all caught up on my email. Okay, one last check here. Nope, 7 hours. No, he's gonna leave that up a while. Sometimes he'll leave this stuff up for 2 days and 1 hour there. So, yeah. Dead Manhattan lawyers. So. Yeah, that's funny, Charlene. Even on the Democratic side, there's a big fight going on between Bernie supporters and Biden supporters. You get people that are adamant in their political positions and beliefs, and they'll sit there and they'll come to blows over it. It's amazing. I respect people's opinion. I am not a registered Democrat. I am not affiliated with any political party. I'm an independent. I'm nonpartisan because if there's ever somebody on the Republican side that was a good candidate, I'd vote for him. It's just right now I really don't see anybody. And that's just my political belief. But if the Bernie people want to argue with the Biden people, that's their right, and vice versa. It's just that there's going to come a time when either Bernie or Biden wins the primary, and then they have to decide if they're going to mend their fences and have a uniform party or not. That's the one thing that Trump has managed to do. He's got a uniform party. And, that's a hard thing to overcome. So, the Democrats need to think long and hard about what they're doing. Mike Bloomberg warns campaign staff that they've been exposed to the virus. Oh boy. Yeah, someone on the vice president's staff has been exposed to it. Tested positive, I believe. Yeah, it's just the debaters keep debating. Originally, before the Phil McConnell situation came up, this was going to be a political forum, but I abandoned it because of the situation here. So, hopefully, we can just get along, as they say. So, let's see, just like anyone that has Trump supporters, tell them I'm not in here to knock Trump. I'm in here to discuss the situation with Phil McConnell, the lawsuits, and this new lawsuit that's opened up, and the Absug case. I discuss trials in progress when it comes to specific individuals. I don't care about the politics of these people involved. It has to do with the criminal violations that are alleged against them and the civil violations that they're being charged with and how it works its way through the court. I did it with Casey Anthony, and I am doing it here. So that is that. Levi, you probably want to listen to the replay because I got into the lawsuit that is being filed against Daniel Lee, Preacher Dan, a group out of Ohio. 4 people have filed a lawsuit against Daniel Lee and 10 other defendants over statements that have been made by Daniel Lee and others on the internet. Basically there's some paperwork up there. I replayed a segment by Rebecca that she had done and bringing in additional information that I did not put up because it wouldn't have displayed well on my computers. So I found her video and put that up. And she actually does a better job of presenting things than I do because she makes everybody laugh her asses off. So you'll love that one. But other than that, it's been just a typical night on the Murtathon. And I managed to stay with this longer than I anticipated because my throat is dry as sandpaper right now. I got a cough again. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Yeah, well, what you're dealing with is things as they happen, getting into the due process aspect of going to trial. People are innocent until proven guilty, and it's up to the state to prove their case. The defendant doesn't have to prove their innocence. And, it's just, I've always been interested in the process. When I first moved to Florida, I started going to court down here and just sitting in on various cases. And then once I became the foreman of a jury in a rape trial. That was an interesting experience. And I got into this. Now let's talk spree killers. It's a funny thing you should mention that. Somebody left a comment on my YouTube chat that I did yesterday that the person that is used in the profile of monoxide MMAC is something of a spree killer. I always thought it was James Dean that he was using, but apparently it's this person out west that got involved in a situation, and I'm going to look into that case just for the heck of it. But according to the comment, the guy was also a pedophile, and it seems to fit in with Monoxide's mantra, since he goes around putting child porn in chat rooms and stuff, allegedly. And there's one comment that was put up on a blog where he actually threatened to knock the teeth out of a 14-year-old so that oral sex would be a lot easier. And that's, yeah, Charlie Starkweather. And that is, what this guy is. And it is alleged that he is the one that created the fake chat. Huh. I'll be damned. Because there's the picture. That is, that's funny. I've looked, because I've looked at that picture for years, and I've never been able to figure out. Because, let's see. Okay. Charles Raymond Starkweather was born 24 November 1938 in Nebraska. He died in 1959 at the age of 20. He didn't live very long. And he was a mass murderer. He and his girlfriend, Carly Ann Fugette, were convicted of killing 11 men, women, and children in a murder spree that ran over a week period. Although the majority of the persons were killed in the last 2 weeks of the spree, the killing spree later served as the basis for such Hollywood films as Born Bad, Badlands, The Sadist, and Natural Born Killers. In other films, Born the Third Child to a Poor, and other films. Born the third child to a poor family of 7 children, Guy and Helen Starkweather, young Charlie grew up in the mid-1950s, adoring actor James Dean. Well, I was close. Especially in his role, Rebel Without a Cause. And often dressed in a similar fashion. He quit school at age 16 to work in a warehouse, loading and unloading trucks. He began to date. Yeah, this goes on for quite a while, but this is really interesting. But the parallels between this guy and Monoxide, now I see why I thought this guy was James Dean. And this guy who created the fake chats, Joshua Wayne Melton, fits right in because of some of the stuff. There's 3 separate blogs that have been written about this guy, and he's a real piece of work. And what I tried to point out in my mobile-thon that I did yesterday, this guy lived halfway between the apartment of Melinda Duckett and where Melinda Duckett committed suicide. This is the mother of Trenton Duckett, who disappeared. They've never been able to find him. They presume he's dead. Melinda Duckett appeared on the Nancy Grace show. Nancy Grace, in her true prosecutor fashion, grilled Melinda, and Melinda committed suicide in her grandparents' house using a Mossberg 16 gauge shotgun. And Monoxide claims to have known Melinda Duckett. He claims to have gone to high school with her. Now, Melinda Duckett and Monoxide are roughly the same age. And the distance between his house in Fruitland Park, or actually Lady Lake and Leesburg, is not that far, which naturally is why he went to Leesburg High School, because he was within 2 miles of the school. Then, to top it all off, Mr. Melton claims to have known Casey Anthony. And Casey Anthony, as many people know, is the mother of Kaylee Anthony, who was eventually found dead less than a mile from her house inside of a trash bag. Casey Anthony was a party girl. There's pictures of her all over the place, and again, on my video yesterday, of her stone cold drunk. Now, she was acquitted because they could not come up with a cause of death for Kaylee. She was too badly decomposed. She'd been under 4 feet of water because we had 4 hurricanes in that year, and so forth. And again, Monoxide claims to have known her. And he talked about her on Web Sleuth and other forums. And because of that, he came after me. And strangely enough, while Casey Anthony was on trial in February of 2009, Haley Cummings goes missing. Case is unsolved. You have a teenaged guardian / girlfriend of the adult father, who is himself in his late 20s, early 30s, can't remember his precise age, same age bracket as Monoxide. Cough alert. Knew I should have grabbed that second Pepsi. So anyway, Samsula, Florida, or Palaca, Florida, is less than 2 hours from Fruitland Park. So it would have been no problem for Monoxide to drive back and forth between his house and Palatka and party down with these people that were into drugs. The biological father of Haley and Misty Crosland are now in state prison because they were caught in a law enforcement sting, along with, strangely enough, a member of Texas EquiSearch, which is an organization that searches for missing people. And, that's just one of these strange twists in the case. But the fact of the matter is that less than a month after Haley Cummings disappeared, Monoxide MMAC left the state of Florida. And there has not been a trace of Monoxide MMAC since. Now, it has been rumored that Joshua Melton was up in Pensacola, Florida for a period of time, but I have checked that lead out several times, and he's not there. Nobody knows where he's at. He's no longer on the internet. He has no forums, has no chats. He doesn't do anything with mixed martial arts, which is what the MMAC stood for. He's just gone. So, and I put that up there. I said, Tim, here's a good lead for you. I even put the guy's address. You put the guy's address up there, and you look on the map. He's within walking distance of Melinda Duckett's house. You can walk 3 miles. I've done it. I walk 8 miles a day when I take my walkathons. Who knows? That might be an interesting video to do a walkathon. But he's in the area. He's probably visited the same places that Melinda Duckett visited. And the same holds true of Casey Anthony. Orlando is an hour from Leesburg by the Florida Turnpike. I've done it in 45 minutes because you can go 85 miles an hour on the Turnpike, and you can do just as fast if you come in I-4 or if you come in the East-West Expressway. It's not hard to get to these various places and do it in a relatively short period of time. And so there's no reason why Joshua Melton could be dismissed as a suspect until he's questioned and his whereabouts are accounted for. But rather than investigate this astonishing set of coincidences, Timothy Homestead completely ignores it. This is supposed to be an award-winning journalist. This is supposed to be someone that has all these answers. He has the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force at his beck and call. He's third in line to the President of the United States. He could get a hold of JFK Jr. or whoever the hell this guy is that's the intermediary and say, hey, Donald Trump, we got this case down here in Leesburg, Florida. This kid that's been missing for 10 years. Get the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force to look into that one. Find this Melton guy. Put him under a polygraph machine. Put him in with a professional interrogator. And let's just see what's up with this dude. But no, that's not going to happen because the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force is fiction. It's a lie. It's a farce. It's a hoax. And people believe in it. Randy Erickson promotes this crap. And the interesting thing about it is everything that Tim Holmseth uses against me is generated by pedophiles. The chats, again, has been proven to be connected to this person, monoxide. There's someone that wrote a blog and actually confessed to being part of it. Showed how it was done. I had two former administrators and moderators. It's actually one administrator and two moderators. And one of the moderators happened to be the sister of an unregistered sex offender, an unregistered pedophile. She confessed to 4 counts of lewd acts on a child. And the sister of this woman came into my chat without my permission and said that the children lied, that their father or their grandfather had political connections and he had forced the children to lie because he didn't like the son for some reason. And so it was a custody thing, apparently. But what's funny about this is there are pictures. It's in the Orlando Sentinel-Star article that has been put up that the child took pictures of the mother's sex organ. And then there's been allegations that there was sexual abuse of the child by the father. And he was put away in prison for a long time because of it. And he died in prison. But this was back before we had mandatory sex offender registration, so this woman slipped under the radar. And it was an article that appeared in La Flora that someone had found this information out about this sex offender, and it got passed along to someone that was a very, very ardent enemy of mine at the time, and she published it. And so that basically caused my room to go down because I refused to back this woman up, having her lie about these children on my chat. And out of nowhere, quite magically, this messaging appeared that Tim Holmseth keeps putting up. It's only one of these. And I discussed this with the Leesburg City Police Department, and I discussed it with the Lake County Sheriff's Department. I took my computer along with a copy of the chats. I showed them what's been written about me. I told them I did not write this stuff. I don't think that way. They examined the computers, and they examined the chats, and they came right out and said, the chats are fake. These are photographic images. There is no source that we can find. They actually went on the internet and tried to find where these chats came from. Couldn't find it. They talked to members of the Duckett family. None of them knew who wrote, who participated. The only thing that we know is that two of the people in that fake chat were members of 4chan. And anybody that's been around will know what 4chan is. So, and all through these years, all these things that have been done basically because of these chats. Got a cough again. But what you have to determine for yourselves is it true or not? Am I capable of doing something like that? If you think I'm capable, then perhaps you shouldn't be here, because I'm a bad influence. I'm this pedophile that writes these nasty things about kids that go around doing this stuff. So I just, it wouldn't be a good idea to hang around with me. I mean, this is the message that Tim Holmseth is getting out there with his articles. He wants to turn people away from this channel because of this past that I have. And it's pretty effective, because I think some of the reason that people turn away from this room is they find out about this chat. And once they start seeing the propaganda about this chat and the way that Tim Holmseth presents it, they get the impression that I'm in this just to go after Tim because he's exposed this information about me. And you're fighting an uphill battle because of that. And there's really nothing I can do about it. I have fought this situation for years. I make the same challenges. I say, people, call the law enforcement agencies. Leesburg, Florida Police Department was the lead agency on the Trenton Duckett case. Lake County Sheriff's Department was where I was living at the time these accusations came about. I've also been to the Orange County Sheriff's Department here in Orlando about this situation. And so there's all kinds of paperwork out there on me. You can do a public information request, and this stuff is going to show up. And you'll see what I've had to put up with for the last 12 years. About the complaints I've made, about the swatting that's been done against me. I had 5 Lake County Sheriff's Department cars show up at my house with AK-47s and all that, because someone called and said that I was going to kill myself and I had a house full of guns and all this crap. And what's funny, if you read the police report, they said they tried calling the number back of the person that made the call, and they got the weather and time information from someplace in Pennsylvania. So, and on Halloween Day, somebody did the same thing. They called the Lake County Sheriff's Department, said I was going to go out and stalk Halloweeners, and the next thing you know, I had the Lake County Sheriff's Department knocking on my door again. And so I got swatted twice. And, there's actually a third time, but it really didn't amount to much. That was the third, the so-called fake suicide. Somebody called in and said I was going to commit suicide, or that I had committed suicide, because I dropped a cup of milk on the floor and I went and got a towel and cleaned it up. And so somebody called in to the Lake County Sheriff, said that I had committed suicide, and the next thing I know, there's an officer at the door. I invited her in, showed her my chat that I was running, and actually there are pictures out there of the Lake County deputy behind my camera looking at the chat, and I was showing her where people were talking about the fact that I tried to commit suicide. So that was kind of an interesting experience. But this is what I've had to put up with. I mean, these people are nuts. And, you know, the one woman that was behind some of the stuff is dead. Another woman's completely disappeared. Actually, two of them have. Woman from Arizona's completely vanished. The woman from Atlanta, she's vanished. More than likely, she's taken a dirt nap. I'm still researching on that one. But these people go away. They get caught. They go away. There's a guy in Canada that got sent to jail for his part in some of this stuff. He was the one behind the Halloween stunt. And like I said in my video, Monoxide got caught because he put links to child pornography on Leonard Padilla's live stream when he was talking about Kaylee Anthony. The authorities looked into that, and because of that and other things that Monoxide had been up to, he got put away. And he's flat out disappeared. You can't, everything about Monoxide's gone. I was fortunate enough, I found a news clip of Monoxide where some friend of his disappeared and he wound up on camera. And that's the only picture I can find of him. I can't find the other pictures of Monoxide when he was with his family. I found one picture of Monoxide behind a mask, and that's all. And this Starkwater thing is just, it's his monogram. But if you Google Monoxide, MMAC, you'll see Monoxide 911, somebody that went by the handle of Muzzling Freud, or however else you pronounce that, wrote about Monoxide. And the one thing you'll find when you're going through those blogs is these people are no fans of mine. One person made that abundantly clear. They just don't like Monoxide. And he confessed in there, in a chat that one of these people put up, that they were his chats. And that was what I put up on my live stream. Well, Levi, this is, this was back when you and I were at each other's throats and beyond. Alexandra knows about it, and I think she knew who Monoxide was. And this is the stuff that I had to put up with. But if you were to call the Lake County Sheriff's Department and do a request for police reports in my name, you'd have all kinds of stuff come out. Because I was getting to be a regular customer up there. I had some woman over in Broward County that used to go by Ruby, and she pretended to be Kathy Murtathon, tried to get medicine or something using my information. I never did find out what that was all about, but I filed a police report about that. This is back. See, this all started during the Trenton Duckett case. At the tail end of the Trenton Duckett case, there used to be a forum called the Lake County Crew, and it was made up of a group of women that were close to the Duckett family, and they did not like me being involved, because I used to run around and all I did was take pictures. And I did chats on topics. I didn't even have a blog at the time. I had a PhotoBucket account. And I would take pictures and I would put them up on PhotoBucket. And it was basically it was like the apartment where Melinda Duckett lived, the house where the grandparents lived, a lake where people thought that Melinda may have tossed Trenton into the water, the incinerator for Lake County where he could have been cremated because it was suspected she threw him in the dumpster. Things like that. And then I transitioned into doing the same thing when the Casey Anthony case started up. And this stuff was going on way back when. Now, the chats came about during my coverage of the Casey Anthony case. I was doing a chat in my room one night, and this guy who called himself Renzo Loves Cake would come in, and he would say something. The moderators would kick him out. He would come back, and all of a sudden there'd be this flooding of my chat. There's a thing you can do to chats. I never understood how it was done, where you can take and write a line and have it be reposted 1,000 times. They basically destroyed my chat because nobody could talk. You know, they would see murder's a pedophile for 100 lines all the way down the chat. And then I was getting, they would call them 411 calls. This is a precursor to the spoofing. I was getting all kinds of weird stuff. And it was unbelievable. And finally, you know, with everything else that was going on, I just said to hell with it, and I shut down. And this is around the time radio got involved, and she decided that she was going to get into this stuff because I was trying to give Tim Homseth the benefit of the doubt because they were doing the same thing to Tim Homseth that was being done to me, and I had experienced this for years. So I figured, well, maybe he's a victim just like I am. And until I was sent the court documents regarding what Timothy Homseth had been doing to Kim, that I realized that I had been defending the wrong person, and I backed away. And that's when I got hit by everybody. Because everybody saw me as a big supporter of Homseth, so I was getting nailed on one side. The people that hated Kim and were part of the Kaylee Anthony support group were after me because I'm siding with the enemy. And it was a no-win situation. I was getting hit from both sides. And in the end, a lot of this turned out to be radio playing us all against each other. That's when we finally got this all figured out. Radio was exposed, and we all said, well, we know we've been had, so we set aside our differences, and so this is the current situation. We came through a really weird, rough patch. And so this is basically a condensed version of what happened. But I've put up with stuff like this for years. Even back in the days of the topics, I had to put up with this. Because there's always somebody out there that wants to mess things up. And they're just like Tim Homseth. You know, they're destroyers, they don't contribute, and they eventually go away. I had some idiot broke into, I think it was my Yahoo chat account, and put up a thing where I said I was a U.S. Marshal, which is the stupidest thing. And I never could get rid of that. Yeah, and the thing of it is, Mary Lee and Astro are still mad at me. This current woman who claims not to be Astro is mad at me as well. You know, and it's just said I can't win. You know, because even though radio attacked Mary Lee and by extension Tim Homseth, and a group of us were able to get radio off the air to where she wasn't bothering anything anymore, there's been no thanks. People have just continued on declaring that I'm the enemy. They don't care that because of certain circumstances that radio is no longer out there. Because if radio news was still around here, Tim Homseth wouldn't like it. He would be in a far worse situation than he is now. Because radio was relentless. And she used to tear into Tim Homseth quite a bit. You know, in some ways, I kind of wish he was coming around because she could really tighten the screws on Homseth and remind him just exactly what she was. And teach Tim Homseth a lesson. But radio's gone. She's not coming back, so we just got to trudge on our own. And in some ways, it's good she's not, because that woman was a royal pain in the ass. She's just like Tim. They should have gotten married because they're twins. They act the same, they think the same, so on and so forth. But, you know, there are people out there that are the authors of some of this information on the internet that could remove it. But for whatever reason, they refuse to remove it. And these people know who they are. I'm not going to name them. I decided that if they don't want to remove this material for whatever reason, I'm not going to argue with them. I'm disappointed because they know the truth, that they will not take this material down. So it's the people need to remember they're just giving Timothy Homseth and these other people a Christmas present because this is the stuff they use against me. This could be cleaned up in 5 minutes, and Tim Homseth wouldn't have a leg to stand on, but they won't do it. Why, I don't know, but it is what it is. So, now that I've managed that soap operas, I gotta watch what I talk about this, because this is what turned people away from my channel before, is I got so immersed in trying to defend my reputation that I ruined my channel. I drove people away because they were interested in the Casey Anthony case. They weren't interested in my personal problems and what these people were doing. And so the people won by default. So I've got to be a little bit mindful when discussing this situation so that I don't go so far off the beam that I turn everybody off. But I've got, my blogs are out there. You can read my blogs and everything's there. And you can decide for yourself. One of these days, I have changed my plan on GoDaddy, and I've got to realign everything over to the new server, and I just haven't got around to doing that yet. But, it's a life experience. You can't change the past. You can only correct the past and move forward and pick up the pieces, start out on a new direction, and go from there. And all I'm doing is pointing out the truth. I'm pointing out the truth about Tim Homseth. I'm pointing out the truth about Phil McConnell and these other people. They're the ones that put a bullseye on my back. And so now I have to take care of things. And they went after Kim, and for no reason, except for it's just a convenient target. They go after Monty because he's a convenient target. They go after Levi because he's a convenient target. And yet, when they get handed clues on a silver platter that just might solve a decades-old missing child case, they ignore it. They discard it. They throw it out like trash. It's amazing. And it's there, folks. It's in my chat yesterday. All the information that somebody can go out there and be an armchair detective, track down Joshua Wayne Melton, track down Monoxide MMAC, track down Renzo Loves Cake from 4chan, or KFC fan from 4chan. Find out what the deal is with these people. Are they involved with the disappearance of all these children? Are they responsible for the death of one of these children? Apparently, Tim Homseth isn't interested because it doesn't fit his conspiracy theory. It doesn't fit this Pentagon pedophile task force mission that he's at. It's out of his loop. So he's not going to consider it. He's not going to take it and say, hey, I can make a name for myself. I could solve this case. I could solve that case. I'd be a hero. I'd be able to write another book. But he won't do it because he's too damn stupid. He could do a public service and possibly find some answers that have been people wanted answers for a long time. He could find them, but he won't do it. He'll continue on. He'll chase me. He'll chase Monograph. He'll chase our friend from Canada and others. Because he's not out to solve anything. He's just out to keep this perpetual nonsense going, day in and day out. Sorry I keep doing that. And so as I wrap this up, I once again say, you people out there that tune in, it's up to you if you believe me or not. It's up to you if you want to subscribe or not. I'll leave it up to you. I'm not going to say I'm right, and I will admit when I'm wrong. You want to believe what you want to believe for whatever reason you want to believe it. I have no control over that. I'm not going to demand, and I'm not going to pound people over the head. I state my case as a defense in this court of public opinion. You people are the jurors. It's up to you to render your verdict. Now, with that, I wish everybody well. You know, even though I'm an agnostic, I pray for all of you. I send out hopes and good feelings that nobody catches this coronavirus, and that if you do, you get through the other side of it, and that your life is as smooth and as peaceful as possible. And so tomorrow night, on what is supposed to be the Saturday Murtathon, this is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.